Yo, 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 yo. What up, y'all? Y'all ready for me to talk some crazy ish? Y'all ready to hear some crazy off the wall talk, some original football take type of stuff, man? I'm saying. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff, man. Thank y'all for kicking it with me, man. I'm about to get right up into this Indiana and the national championship with the Hurricanes, Miami Hurricanes and Indiana Hoosiers. The game is set, yo. It's the last. It's the last one at the Hard Rock, bro. It's on and popping at the Hard Rock. You know, it's lit, man. It's up. It's most definitely up at the Hard Rock, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like to call it. So, particularly what I like to call this is the last stop at the Hard Rock. That's what it is. So you got Indiana and Miami playing each other right now. Both teams we've seen sweep through. We've seen Miami have a great playoff run so far. You're leading up into this game, you know, beating Texas A&M. I don't care what a lot of people say. Texas A&M, very good team. They almost look like a juggernaut, you know, in the SEC, big school. Then they run into the juggernaut of the Big Ten. Even a lot of people, even after Indiana beat Ohio State, people were still saying that Ohio State was the better team. Me, myself, I was big on Ohio State, huge on Ohio State because of Matt Patricia, the defense, Ryan Day, leading up to the games that they had played up until that point. And then you go look at them beating Ole Miss and getting over that Ole Miss hurdle. And that was close. It took the offense, Carson Beck and those guys, and Mark Fletcher moving the ball down the field and making the right calls and getting the right plays. And Ole Miss's defense just couldn't hold up at the end. You know what I'm saying? And that's what was in that game. They came back in that one. Now, I will say this, though. You know what I mean? Miami gave them a lot of opportunity. A tip ball went for an interception in that game. And also, they had a lot of penalties. They had 10 penalties in that game for 84 yards in that game against Ole Miss. Indiana did. I mean, not Indiana, excuse me. Miami did. Miami had that, you know, they had 10 penalties for 84 yards in that game. And you can't do that versus Indiana. You cannot shoot yourself in the foot like that versus Indiana. They're going to test you every which way. So, and Indiana, I've said this before, and people know this by now about Indiana. When you watch that film, they are so fundamentally sound, meaning that they are a coach's dream. You hear me? Every coach out there that coaches a football team, you literally want your team to lock in on the fundamentals, because a lot of people lose that and they forget that. And Indiana has locked in on that. Not only that, they do everything by the book. Their skill takes over once you're doing everything by the book. They take whatever they study you so well. They just do. They study you so well. This opponent is like, I can honestly say this, right? I don't think that in either one of these teams that's facing each other in Indiana or Miami has faced a team like what they're about to face. I don't think that Miami has played a team like Indiana, and I don't think Indiana has played a team like Miami yet. I don't think so, right? Not that big and physical and play the way that Miami does, right? Because Miami's big and physical. Now, Oregon is also big and physical, but, you know, I don't think Miami's a different level. They're a different level of dog. They're going to hit you. They are going to hit you. They're going to test you. Now, you look at Miami's roster full of talent, right? You look at the talent, and then you look at the talent with Indiana, and you say, well, they out-talented them. They got more talent. A lot of teams out-talent Indiana. A lot. That's not. So, a lot of teams out-talent Indiana. They just do. Indiana is a product of very well coaching, very good coaching. That's what Indiana is elite. That's an elite coached football team. It is, because you see what they do and how they do it. You could watch the film on them and you could come up with this, or you know what I'm saying, statistically, you can see it, right? It just shows on both sides. And when you have a team who statistically are what they are on the field, that's rare. But when you see that is a disciplined football team, and they do not shoot themselves in the foot a lot. Indiana does not do that. They keep their head. They play the way that Kurt Signetti looks on the sideline. I'm not impressed. Let's go to the next level. For them to hang that many points on that talented of an Oregon team, I don't know if y'all know how insane that is. That's insane. That's crazy, y'all. I'm telling y'all, that's crazy. I did not expect that game to go that way. I honestly thought that Oregon was going to be able to come out in that game versus Indiana and learn the mistakes that they did, and obviously they did not, because they tried to go out there. They didn't even go out there with the same game plan. They went out there with the same thing they did versus Indiana the first time, and did it worse. That's the crazy part about it. Like, for D'Angelo Pons to be there for that pick six, meaning that was on film. They watched the film of that team. Now, you heard Carson Beck say he also watches the film. But see, the crazy thing is about Indiana and what Indiana does is, like, you seen what they did with Oregon, right? You seen what they did. I'm going to take what you don't know how to do, what you don't like to do. You're going to have to beat me like that. You're not, because you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Mark Fletcher is going to be able to run against this Indiana defense. I don't think so, y'all. I'm sorry to say that, man. I've been rocking with the Canes, man, but I just don't think that Mark Fletcher is going to be able to run the ball on this Indiana defense like that. I would be shocked. Now, will they get mad? If they get manhandled at the line of scrimmage, that's a different thing. But they're so fundamentally sound. They hit you with so many different things. When everybody does their job to the T, it's so hard to look at them and say, okay, we got to hit them there. We got to hit them this way. Because they adjust to you. It's like you're mirroring it's like they mirror what you like. It's crazy because they mirror you, but then they make you do what you're not comfortable in doing. And the most uncomfortable play I seen out of Miami is through the air. It's through the air. Anything that's in front of them above the line of scrimmage, you're like, I don't think that's going to be there. I don't think that Malachi Tony is going to be able to get a tunnel screen and take it 60 yards. He got the talent to do that to a lot of teams, and maybe he can't pull it off on Indiana. But they know that's a home run hit for Miami. They know Miami wants to, you know what I'm saying? They know they want to do that. So they're scheming up for that. They're scheming up for that. Believe me, they're scheming up for that. They know Mark Fletcher. You got to respect Mark Fletcher in the box. I think Aiden Fisher is up for the challenge. He's a beast at linebacker. He's very underrated. All we talked about was Jacob Rodriguez. Nobody really talks too much. Now they're probably talking about the middle linebacker play because they're one of the last two teams left. So you got to respect that. You know what I mean? But other than that, I don't think a lot of people was giving too much respect about the middle linebacker play at Indiana. And then you got to remember, I think Fisher went out for a couple of games and a backup came in. So both of those guys give it up well. And Indiana has depth. Miami has depth too. I'm not saying that Miami doesn't have depth because, obviously, they wouldn't be there like that if it wasn't. But they got depth. And a rude awakening is coming to any Miami fans out there that thinks that Charlie Becker is the best number one receiver in the game. No, that's not the case. Whatever receiver is there, it's there. Mendoza is he's a great college quarterback. Let me get that out the way. He's a great college quarterback. You know why? Because I'm telling you right now, he's a great quarterback. He reads the field so quick and so well. He really does. It's almost like it's almost like, wow, like, is he reading? Is he making his reads, or is he just throwing the ball? He reads the defense so well. Like, at this point, I think it's safe to say that Fernando Mendoza is better than Carson Beck. Carson Beck got to show, he got to prove in this game that he is, to be honest. And I don't know if the hype of that, if that weight is going to be on his shoulders and he's going to try to overcompensate, because this ain't the game to try to overcompensate to do that. He has to just take what Indiana's going to give him, play the game, and you know what I'm saying, and just rock out with it, because mistakes don't happen. Both of the quarterbacks is usually good for at least a pick a game. You know what I mean? They usually are. Like, I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, like you usually see that. I don't know, so, and then both of these defenses are very opportunistic defenses. They can be, and Miami got some great defensive line play, great up front play with those guys. Coach Heatherman, defensive coordinator over at Miami, calls a great defense. But you've seen some holes with Ole Miss, and that's and it kind of exposed that defense a little bit at Miami. And this is what I'm talking about, Miami fans. Before y'all go too far with this, it was like they were a well-rounded team, and so is Indiana. So they want to run the ball. Yes, they gonna run the ball. They're a physical team. They're going to run the ball. That's what they're going to do. But if that's not there, bro, they can get you in the air, bro. They can do it, bro. Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, Charlie Becker, bro, they got some guys over here, bro. They got some guys over there. Trust me, bro. Trust me, they got some guys over there. It's not no joke over there, bro. Like, I don't know if people is, and shout out to Mario Cristobal, because his way has worked. And it's beat teams who are used to finesse. You gotta understand that this is what Curt Cignetti is used to. This is what he's used to. This rough, tough game like this one. A slow-paced run slugfest of a game. They're used to this type of football game. This is what Cignetti built this team for. That's why both of these teams are where they're at right now, is because of how physical they are on the attack at the line of scrimmage. Can't nobody, because the teams are built finesse, and these guys got these defensive ends that's 250, 240, you know what I'm saying? 240, but strong as an ox, 250. They got the, 290 guys that can move. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they are who they are, and they where they're at. Both teams got it. Now, you could say that, yeah, Miami and Miami has talent. Yes, they do. They're talented, top to bottom. But Miami is not as disciplined as a team as Indiana, and they're going to attack that. They're going to attack that Miami. I'm telling you, they are. Curt Cignetti is a mastermind on that field. They're going to attack the undisciplined culture of the Miami Hurricanes. They're going to test that. And the Miami Hurricanes have to be ready to answer that call, and they have to stay disciplined in this game. Because against Indiana, 10 penalties for 84 yards is going to be the difference between you carrying that national championship off the field and going home without it. I'm telling you, it is. The time of possession battle, if that's you want to play a slow, methodical game with Curt, cool. That's their type of game. Iowa Hawkeyes is such a good football team. They are a team, honestly, besides Penn State and besides Ohio State, they are the team, I think, honestly, and I'm going to say this, they are the team who play Indiana the best to me. I'm telling you, they were the team who played so far. The Iowa Hawkeyes were the team who played Indiana the best. I don't care about scores. I care about what I was watching on the football field, from what I seen from a line of scrimmage standpoint, from what I seen from, just the technical aspect of the game. Iowa did not shoot themselves in the foot a lot. They went out there and they played a physical football game, and they still couldn't get the job done. They still could not get the job done. They almost got the job done, but you got to be able to hang all quarters. You cannot go to sleep. You have to be lasered focused the entire 60 minutes of this football game. You cannot take a play off. You cannot get tired in this football game. You cannot get comfortable in this game. You can't. You can't. And that's how they play. They make you uncomfortable. You can't, but that's how you got to play this game. You got to be ready to be uncomfortable with every play that you're doing and executing it. You have to be able to execute uncomfortably to beat Indiana. That's just what it is. Now, on the other side of Miami is just physically wanting to just beat you physically up, period. They want to dominate the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball and the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. Will they be able to generate some of that pressure on Mendoza? I think so. I think that they still would be able to get from Mendoza. Mendoza's been sacked a lot. Those tackles have been in question. I do think that Miami has the defensive line to keep the pressure on Mendoza. But it's just how great those receivers are with that. And how Hemby, if Black ain't working, then they got Hemby to back them up. And that's crazy because you got to deal with one of those guys. And I'm not saying that Brown and Fletcher can't get it done, because Brown and Fletcher can get it done. You have to respect those backs out Miami too. This is such a great football game. This is the football game that we've been waiting for. We got the best national championship game that we possibly could have gotten, from a number 10 seed who ran through two SEC teams and arguably the number 2 Big Ten team. But now you got the number 1 Big Ten team. And I don't think we ever seen a team this disciplined. And I'm going to keep talking about it because I don't think we have. I don't think y'all really understand how spoiled we are as football fans to be able to watch the game that we're about to watch and witness. And all the criticism that Cristobal has taken, even from some of his own Miami fans throughout the year. And I'm like, y'all got to calm down, Miami. I was one of the people who first came out and said that. You threw 4 interceptions in a game and lost by 3. But that can't happen. That cannot happen because, you can't throw. No, you're not going to be able to throw 3 interceptions in this game and walk away with victorious. You're not going to be able to turn the ball over once against this Indiana team and go and walk away victorious. It's not going to happen. They're not like nothing y'all have seen all year. Nothing. And you have to respect that if you're Indiana, if you're a Miami fan. And the same thing for Indiana. Miami, you haven't seen nothing like Miami. And not the way they're playing right now, because they're playing like the team that me and DP sat and I said, y'all can go to a national championship with this team, bro. On paper, I don't see why y'all can't do it. Sat there and said they should be 11-1. The only team I thought that they would lose to was Notre Dame early in the year. That's the only L I thought they could have took because of the style that Notre Dame plays. But other than that, I was like, y'all should run away with it. Or was it Clemson? I said, I can't remember. It was Clemson or Notre Dame. I think I took them to beat Notre Dame. No, did I? Yeah, I think I took them to beat Notre Dame, but I think it was Clemson. That's who I thought would get them, was Clemson. But just to make sure, what I'm saying that I said that. But this game it's going to be great, man. It is. It's going to be great. And top to bottom, like, you have to look at the way this team is, like, they present themselves, they come out, and let's not forget about coach, what's his name, the Brian, I think it's Brian Haynes, the defensive coordinator over there at Indiana. Crazy work, man. Nobody talks about Brian Haynes enough neither, and what he's able to do with that defense, man, because there's some straight up monsters over there on that defense, man. Like, I really like the way that they ball, right? I really do. I like the way that they get down because they got depth over there. And like players like who am I looking at right now? For instance, the safety. They don't pay attention to the safety play at Miami. It's great. Aiden Fisher is a straight up beast. Isaiah Jones is a straight up beast. Roja Hardy is a straight up beast. Like I'm telling you, they got some beasts, man. I think we in for a very, very good game. I think we are a very, very good game, man. A very good one. I think I'm really loving this the way that this looks, and the receivers are slept on, man. They really are. They're slept on so much, man. They are slept on so much. It's crazy because nobody really knows their names, and you know what I mean. People seeing Charlie Becker get loose, and how you think Charlie Becker got loose? You got to account for all those guys, and the same thing for Miami. You still got to account for all those guys too. But there's some players that they haven't even really bust out. Indiana hasn't even had to show a whole lot throughout this playoffs. They've just been so dominant on the defense side of the ball under Coach Brian Haynes that you really haven't, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they really had to do anything but just keep it straight vanilla on offense. Not to say that, you know what I'm saying? So, but they've been ready for a game like this, and this is going to be a really, really good game. A really good game, man. It's really tough because I took Miami to beat Ole Miss, and then you know on the other hand, I got I'm sitting here looking at you know the stats or whatever, and I'm like, man, and I took them to beat Ole Miss. I didn't take them to beat. I earned my respect with Ohio State, but I got a long history with Miami. The history goes back to I always was rocking with the Hurricanes throughout the season, but watching them lose to SMU, that did something different to me in my mind. I'm like, wow, not SMU though. I didn't like nobody should have beat them, but I mean, sometimes you need that loss to gain, right? Sometimes you got to lose the game. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is, you know. And I guess that's what benefited them, and they got in there and they started, you know, they got on this fantastic run and they took out some good football teams. They did take out Ohio State under Matt Patricia. They really did. Matt Patricia's defense got out schemed, and I think you got to give it to Shanahan for that and Cristobal because is it Shanahan? I'm sorry, I might got y'all offensive coordinator mixed up. I'm sorry, man. I apologize for that, Miami Hurricanes fans, but yeah, like I don't know what I'm thinking. That's crazy, but yeah, like I think he did a great job, man. I think he did a great job of scheming up against that good defensive coordinator and Matt Patricia. I think he really did it good, man. Great job. Because I tell you what, like, had he not, I might just want to correct his name, Shannon Dawson. I'm sorry, Shannon Dawson. What did I say? Shannon what? Mike saying that something. I don't know. Shannon Dawson. I'm sorry. I think he did a great job, you know, in that chess match with Texas A&M, you know, Mike Elko and the staff over there, because they really held them down. It was a real good football game. Not a lot of scoring going on, and it really wasn't. And they just scored enough, and then they overpowered them on the offensive line, leaned on them, and they finally got them. But see, you don't see no quit in that Indiana team neither. So it's going to go back and forth with both of those guys. And it's just going to come down to who's going to out scheme, and you know what I mean, who's going to out scheme who, you know, at the time being, and you know, and that's what we're going to see. Experience of the quarterback, kind of like the Steelers breakdown for my Steelers breakdown. What team is going to, and that's Mike Shanahan. I knew it was Shanahan with Indiana and Heatherman. They're going to go head to head. So, and I think they up for the task, man. So, but it's tough to say, man. It's really tough to say on who's going to take it home, man. It really is, because these teams, man, we haven't seen a matchup. And you know, Indiana, they score so much. They score so many points, man. That offense is really that good. Like Shanahan knows how to scheme. They telling you, man, they going to hit your weakness and lean on your weakness like crazy. They're going to expose Heatherman's defense. They're going to. Y'all know the weakness of that team, Miami. The fans know their weakness of that team. And Indiana is going to hit that over and over and over. until you correct it. And then when you do correct it and you find a way to correct it, they're going to expose that weak spot. They're so good at attacking the weak spots. They really are. And it's hard to go against a team that you see consistently do that. They consistently do it so well fundamentally, and they believe in their coach, Bryant Haynes, and what he does. They'll show 7. Show 7, drop 2, show 7, drop 3, show 7, bring 2, show 7, hit flat. Yeah, like the way it's so great, man. Man, it's amazing. It is. It's amazing. The way that they neutralize your best assets of the game. Marion's going to have to play huge in this game. Marion is. He just says he's going to have to come up huge in this game. CJ Daniel was going to have to play huge in this game. Carson Beck, damn sure, he got to be on his A game this game. Same thing for Mendoza. And I'm only really saying this on the Miami side is because they all, and y'all know it. Y'all know this to be true, and y'all know it. Anybody out that's a Hurricane fan know it. The undisciplined, the way that they make stupid choices. If you can play like how you did with Ohio State and have 3 or less penalties, you got a chance in this game. If not, long day. Long day. You play like you played against Ole Miss, that's not going to beat Indiana. It's not going to do it. Sorry to say it's not. It's just not. But I know how I give it up, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Appreciate y'all rocking out with me, man. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Y'all know what I always say. Pray for yourself. Pray for each other. Pray for me. I'm always praying for y'all, especially the ones that get down in the comments.